Hello everyone, and welcome to the Bible Prayer Channel. Today, we will explore an important topic about faith and hope during difficult times. When we face challenges and hardships in life, there is often a familiar saying, "Wait upon the Lord." This is a crucial piece of advice that the Bible has conveyed to us. When encountering difficulties, remember that waiting upon the Lord is not just about patience. It's also about trusting in the divine purpose and meaning of life. Why? Because God's timing is not our timing, and His plans are always perfect. However, during the waiting period, there are common pitfalls that we need to avoid. So, how should you trust in God, and what should you avoid while waiting for miracles from the Lord? Let's watch our video to gain a better understanding. In this video, we will help you comprehend these pitfalls and how to avoid them. We will explore ways to maintain your faith, refrain from comparing yourself to others, and not let impatience and doubt dominate your life during the waiting period. Trust in God and know that He is always at work in your life, even when you can't see it. Now, let's embark on this journey together. Click on the video, and we will guide you through these essential principles of trusting in God's timing and avoiding common pitfalls in life. Thank you for joining us, and let's share this message of faith and hope with those around you. First of all, why do we need to wait for God's opportunities? God's plan is always perfect. God, with supreme knowledge, knows what's best for our lives. Sometimes, waiting for God's timing means allowing Him to execute His best plan in our lives. Waiting for the Lord's time can lead to positive changes in a person's life. This is similar to waiting for significant moments of waiting being just as crucial as moments of action in larger life. In these waiting moments, we have the opportunity to mature, grow in faith, and delve deeper into the meaning of life. When we wait, we often have to face challenges, difficulties, and trials. These times can help us develop spiritually, strengthen our faith, and deepen our hope in the Lord. Waiting time is not empty time. It's the time we are being prepared for what lies ahead. God is often working in our lives during the waiting period, preparing us to be ready and deserving of the blessings He has in store for us. Though our clocks and God's clock may not always synchronize, God's timing is always perfect. We need to not only understand the beauty of God's timing, but also avoid the pitfalls as we wait patiently through this season. Waiting for God's timing can be a lesson in patience and faith. It teaches us to trust in God's presence and goodness in all things. When we go through the miracles of God, we often have the opportunity to strengthen our faith and find joy in life. These experiences enhance our faith and encourage us to continue waiting and hoping in the Lord. However, we know that many people, due to impatience during the waiting period, have fallen into traps, violating what should not be violated, leading to undesired outcomes. Therefore, we hope that you do not fall into common traps, and here are 7 traps that you should avoid during the waiting period. First, despair. This is one of the dangerous traps when waiting for God's timing. When we face stagnation or failure in life, it's easy to fall into a state of despair and lose faith. This happens when we feel like God has abandoned us or is not listening to our prayers. These times can make us question our worth, thinking that we are not deserving of the blessings we hope for. Self-despair can be a powerful feeling that causes us to lose patience and hope. However, in the most challenging times, we need to remember that God's timing is not our timing. God has a greater and deeper plan for each person's life, and it may require time to unfold. Losing patience and self-despair only delay God's plan and do not help in any way. Instead of falling into a state of despair, we should focus on strengthening our faith and hope. Let go, trust in God's divine purpose, and know that He is always working to prepare better things for us, even if we may not see it immediately. When we maintain patience and faith, we can overcome self-despair and receive the blessings that God has in store for us. Secondly, comparing oneself to others. Comparing oneself to others is one of the most frightening traps when we are waiting for the Lord's timing. When we start comparing our journey to that of others, we can fall into dissatisfaction and self-doubt. This often happens when we feel like other people's lives are progressing faster or that they are receiving the blessings we hope for. However, we need to remember that each person has their own unique journey and their own time in their relationship with God. God has a specific plan for each individual, and sometimes it requires time to unfold. Comparing only adds unnecessary pressure and anxiety and can erode our trust in God's plan. Instead of comparing, we should focus on our own journey and have faith that God is working in our lives in His own unique way. Remember that God is not concerned with the race of comparison with others. He is concerned with us facing our own concerns and having enough patience to wait. When we concentrate on developing our relationship with God and fulfilling His divine will, we can avoid the trap of comparison and may discover the unique blessings that God has in store for us. Thirdly, impatience. Impatience is one of the traps we need to avoid while waiting for the Lord's timing. When we experience impatience, we often feel disappointed and lose patience. This usually happens when we want everything to go according to our own desires and expect to receive blessings immediately. However, waiting for God's timing requires patience and trust. We should not rush and hold God responsible for things not happening according to our will. God's time is not our time, and He has His own plan and schedule. Think about the story of Abraham and Sarah in the Bible. They desperately wanted a child but had to wait until a very old age before God fulfilled that desire. During the waiting process, they faced many challenges and trials. However, when God fulfilled His plan, Isaac was born, demonstrating that their patience was rewarded. Remember that patience in waiting for God's timing is not just a simple action but an expression of faith in His wisdom and plan. We should not be caught up in impatience. Instead, create the conditions for our patience and faith to grow. Waiting for God's timing can be challenging, but sometimes it brings blessings beyond our imagination. Fourthly, doubting. Doubt is a mental state that can arise when we are waiting for the Lord's timing. When we doubt, we start questioning the divine purpose and meaning of life. We may wonder if God truly cares about our lives or if He is executing good plans for us. This presents a significant challenge to our faith. However, a mindset of doubt can be a challenge that we need to confront and overcome. We should always remember that God is continually at work in our lives, even when we cannot see it. The Bible provides many examples of people whom God worked with in their lives, even when they were going through challenges and difficulties. Think about the story of God leading the Israelites out of hunger and thirst in the wilderness. Despite their doubts and complaints, God provided manna from heaven to nourish them every day and eventually led them to a promised land full of hope. Another story in the Bible is the tale of Daniel in the lion's den. Despite being placed in a dangerous situation, Daniel did not doubt God and continued to pray. As a result, God protected Daniel from the lion's attack. Recalling these stories and God's promises in the Bible can help us deal with doubt. We need always to remember that God is at work in our lives, even when we cannot see it. Our faith during the waiting period may be challenged, but it is also an opportunity for our faith to develop and grow stronger. Fifthly, grumbling and complaining too much. Grumbling and complaining can be hidden traps when we are waiting for the Lord's timing. When the journey seems to stall or when we face difficulties, it's easy to get caught up in frustration and complaints. We may begin to question why life is so challenging, why we have to go through these hardships, and why God doesn't make everything easier. However, grumbling and complaining not only make the journey more difficult but also make it less worthwhile. We may miss out on the goodness and blessings that God has in store for us during the waiting process. Instead of complaining and being troubled, we should focus on the goodness in life and be thankful to God for the blessings we have received. No matter how difficult the journey may be, we still have many reasons to be grateful. We can be thankful for our health, family, friends, learning opportunities, and the experiences that God has brought into our lives. Furthermore, concentrating on the positive and being thankful also helps us maintain a positive and optimistic attitude throughout the journey. Instead of spending too much time and energy on complaining, we can use them to build faith and hope. Remember that every challenge and difficulty in life can become an opportunity for learning and growth. God is always at work in our lives, and we can trust that He will guide us through every hardship and lead us to places of blessing during the waiting period. And finally, making hasty decisions can be a dangerous pitfall when waiting for God's timing. During moments of waiting, we may experience pressure and uncertainty, which can lead us to make impulsive decisions that we might later regret. We often feel the urge to rush through the waiting period and desire immediate results. This can result in making decisions without careful consideration or full awareness of the consequences. An example from the Bible regarding making hasty decisions is the story of Gehazi, who was the servant of the prophet Elisha. After Elisha healed a man named Naaman, Naaman wanted to offer a gift to Elisha as a token of gratitude. However, Elisha declined the gift. But Gehazi decided on his own to chase after Naaman and take the gift without informing Elisha. When Elisha found out, he rebuked Gehazi for making a hasty decision and being dishonest. The Word of God also warns us about making decisions without careful consideration. Proverbs chapter 14 verse 15 says, "The simple believes everything, but the prudent gives thought to his steps." This implies that we should always examine and carefully consider our decisions, especially significant ones that can have a profound impact on our lives. During the waiting journey, we need to maintain patience and trust in God. We also need to exercise caution when making decisions, especially those that could significantly affect our lives. Remember that God has a perfect plan, and His timing is perfect. In conclusion, do not neglect the opportunity to invest in your spiritual growth during the waiting period. Waiting time can be a period of significant spiritual development, preparing us for the blessings that God has in store for us in the future. Seize every moment to immerse yourself in God's love and knowledge. Above, we have discussed 7 pitfalls we can easily fall into while waiting for God. We would like to share a story from the Bible that speaks to the importance of trusting in God. One of the well-known stories in the Bible that emphasizes the importance of faith, belief, and patience in God's timing is the story of Jesus and the Canaanite woman. This story is recounted in the Bible in Matthew chapter 15 verses 21 to 28 and Mark chapter 7 verses 24 to 30. In general, the story revolves around a Canaanite woman, a non-Jewish person, who came to Jesus seeking help for her demon-possessed daughter. Initially, Jesus reacted by saying that he was sent only to minister to the Jewish people. However, the Canaanite woman did not give up. She continued to seek the help of Jesus, even addressing him as Lord, Son of David. Although Jesus initially responded sternly, he ultimately acknowledged the woman's patience and faith. He said, "Woman, your faith is great. Your request is granted." In the end, Jesus healed the Canaanite woman's daughter, and this story serves as an example of the importance of patience and faith in God's timing. The Canaanite woman never lost hope and believed that Jesus could help her daughter, and he did just that. This story illustrates that even though we may face difficulties and challenges in life, trust and patience in God can bring blessings and solutions to difficult situations. Now, let's bring you another real-life story about Jack and his bicycle race, which is an example of trust, faith, and patience in God's timing. Jack was a passionate cyclist who had always dreamed of winning a major national race. He prepared diligently and trained every day to achieve this goal. Finally, the opportunity came when a significant national race was organized in the city where he lived. However, on the race day, the weather turned harsh with heavy rain and strong winds. Other cyclists started the race smoothly, but Jack encountered a technical issue with his bike. He was unexpectedly penalized and fell to the back of the pack. Initially, Jack felt despair and almost gave up. But then, he remembered the advice from his grandfather: always have faith in your goal and never give up. Sometimes, challenges truly test your patience and faith. Jack decided to continue the race despite being left far behind. He focused on giving his best, not caring about his position. Throughout the race, he had to not only surpass other cyclists but also face the harsh weather conditions. As the race neared its end, the weather worsened. But now, Jack was leading and heading into a challenging mountain pass. In the final minutes, he felt exhausted, and his patience was running thin. But then, a miracle happened. As he climbed the final steep pass, a small ray of sunlight began to break through the mountaintop. He suddenly felt an extra surge of strength and motivation. He accelerated and felt as if he were uplifted by an invisible force. Jack overcame the final stretch of the race and emerged victorious. His patience, faith, and determination had helped him overcome all obstacles and achieve his goal. Jack's story is a reminder that when we trust in our goals and remain patient in God's timing, even the greatest challenges can be overcome, leading to success beyond our expectations. In our journey, there's one crucial thing to remember and follow: trust in God's timing. When we place all our trust and hope in God, we open the door to His intervention in our lives. God has a perfect plan for each one of us, and His timing is always perfect. However, during the waiting process, there are common traps we need to avoid. Steer clear of these common traps by focusing on spiritual growth and gratitude in your journey. This not only helps you overcome challenges but also makes you stronger in faith and in the love of God. In this video, we've shared with you about the common traps to avoid while waiting. Always concentrate on your spiritual development and gratitude during your waiting time. This not only helps you overcome challenges but also makes you stronger in faith and in God's love. We'd like to conclude our video with this Bible prayer and sharing. When life presents challenges and it feels like you're facing a long journey, remember that God always has a plan for your life. God's timing is not our timing, and in the waiting, He is working in your life, preparing for miracles and blessings that you may not see right now. Never lose your trust and hope, and always remember that you're not facing these challenges alone. God is orchestrating everything according to His will, and He will never abandon you. In the upcoming video, we will bring you a prayer to provide additional strength during your waiting period and help you steer clear of potential pitfalls. Please subscribe to our channel to stay updated with important notifications. If you want to learn more about trusting in God's timing and avoiding common traps, watch our video. Share this message with those around you and connect with God in every moment of life. We appreciate your participation in this journey with us and pray that you will always have faith and hope in the future. Trust in God and let Him guide your life. We wish you all the best and peace in all areas of life. Amen.